Take your team to new heights with training you can trust from CVTC. Unlock your team's potential with affordable seminars and customized training in topics like leadership, safety, manufacturing, transportation, and technology. CVTC is more than a provider. We are your partner for talent upskilling, licensure renewal, recertification, and much more. Discover the impacts that come with our training, from heightened productivity to enhanced teamwork and a commitment to a safer workplace. Visit cvtc.edu/workforce solutions to get started today.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Pablo Center podcast, Beyond the Stage. My name is Kathy Wright and I'm the Director of Talent and Booking here at the Pablo Center in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Here to talk about things that happen on the stage, off the stage, and in our classrooms. Always something going on here at Pablo. And today I'm excited to sit with Quentin from Eau Claire Jazz, and we are going to talk about probably one of the coolest things that happens in Eau Claire that Pablo Center has the privilege of being a part of, and that is the Eau Claire Jazz Fest. Welcome, Quentin.
Thank you for having me, Kathy.
Tell us about Jazz Fest. I mean, that's a pretty big, broad, 59th annual, all kinds of things, but man, in the last, 10 years now, it's really taken on this crazy new persona.
Yeah, it's gone a lot. I mean, the festival itself, again, like you just said, it's in its 59th year, but in early 2000s, I think, falling in line with how this community was growing, the university, right around 2006 and 2007, said, boy, the community is growing a lot and we want to be a part of it. And this festival, at that time, it was more student-driven, but it just brought in so many people. And I think that says a lot about the university, saying we want to be a part of this, and how far can we take this. So they started a nonprofit organization called Eau Claire Jazz Inc., which runs the Jazz Festival. And the reason for that, there's a lot of them, but I think more than anything else, it could take a lot of resources and make sure it could partner with the community, first and foremost, through all the different events we did. We rebranded in 2015 or so, and the Jazz Crawl in particular is a thing I think the community really enjoys, and seeing that grow from, I'm sure in the earlier years, about 8 years ago, it had 4 or 5 venues and brought in, 15, 20 bands, and now this year we have 24 venues. I will program over 50 bands. We typically see about 3,500 people come out, and the thing I really enjoy about the event is how much tourist and attention and celebration brings downtown. It's kind of a funny catchphrase, but I say the Jazz Crawl celebrates our town, in our town, with our town, and I really mean that. And so we bring these bands, we bring them into each venue, and all the development that comes from that, from the different people buying a drink here and buying food here and all that kind of stuff, ended up where we did an economic impact in 2024 with Visit Eau Claire, and $380,000 of economic impact right for our downtown businesses, and a lot of them say it's the best night of the year, and that's the thing I'm most proud of.
Well, it's the best night of year for a lot of reasons. Yeah. I mean, first of all, we talk a lot about, the metamorphosis that has happened in Eau Claire over the last 20 years, and, especially leaning into the art scene and the music scene that happens here. And, this jazz, I want you to tell me all about Jazz Crawl, because it is really something that happens in major cities. Mm-hmm. It's a component of major music festivals, and not something you would normally see in a community like ours. No. But man, it's one of the coolest vibes on the planet to be down here during Crawl. So tell us, so we'll talk a little bit about the educational side of Jazz Fest, because I think if you're not on the inside of it, you don't even realize what you're doing with youth in our community. But the Crawl, so Jazz Fest is going to kick off. It's actually going to kick off in the Pablo Center lobby.
Correct. Yeah. So the Jazz Crawl, again, kind of the thing that's more focused on the community, starts. We have an opening ceremony. This is the second year, and it's such a special thing. We do it right in the Pablo Center lobby. As this festival has grown and continues to grow, one thing that myself and the board and our team will always make sure is the heart and the mission of the event does not change. So as this event continues to scale, where the heart and mission of the event will not change. And for me and everyone on the board, and I think the community agree, the Pablo Center, the Lismore, all these places that grew as the festival grew will always be the center of the festival. So it felt right to have an opening ceremony of sorts to really launch the Jazz Crawl, and we're doing that right in your beautiful lobby, starting at 5:30, and then at 6 o'clock all the venues start event-wide, and you just take it from there.
And it's I love the opening ceremony, and I think something that struck me, as you mentioned, last year was the first time we did it here in the lobby of the Pablo, and getting this facility over the finish line was a monumental task for our community. But as I was standing there and I was listening to these legends in our community talk about the importance of arts, the incredible jazz that we have through our university, and the talent that lives in this town.
Right.
But also to just be sitting there and surrounded. If you've never been inside the Pablo Center, all of the donors, whether you donated $1 or $1 million, your name is on the wall.
Right.
And to be sitting in our lobby surrounded by the names of the community that stepped up and made sure that this happened was a really cool moment. So we kick it off, we introduce everybody, we do all the things, and then basically like somebody blows the air horn and every venue comes to life. Tell me what that is. At 6 o'clock, what happens?
Again, so I program on my side. I program every band that plays that night. Bands can apply through our application process. It's very simple. They're through our website, and then we review those, and we try to accept everyone that applies. At some point, you can't because we only have so many spots, and that's a hard part. But we program as many as we can, and it's my job to make sure the right bands are put in the right venues. And then, like you said, all the venues start at 6 o'clock. So all 24 of them will start right around that time. And you get an all-access wristband, and you go into one venue, and you enjoy a coffee or what have you, and enjoy one type of band. You go next door to the next venue, and you just continue on for the rest of the night. And I think that event is just so special because, again, it features our community, and our community is the reason this event does well. I have a lot of folks, as I attend business conferences and stuff, I have a lot of other friends and colleagues that run festivals in the country, and I would not be dramatic by saying I think about 10 to 15 times people have reached out and said, hey, Quentin, we would fly you out and pay you. Can you help us start a jazz crawl in our town? And I did that exactly one time a few years ago, and it did not work. And it took me a while to realize it's because they don't have Eau Claire. And the culture here, I think, is what makes the jazz crawl so successful. Is I think it's an arts-driven economy. Actually, I think that was in an article recently. I'll have to find that. But the jazz crawl works well in here because the community is in a culture of supporting each other. I think it's a collaborative environment through the arts, through business, pretty much anything. And that's why the event, I think, feels so at home for anyone because it resonates with how we think as a community.
I think the authenticity of Jazz Crawl
Yes.
is amazing. And I think that it, like you said, our community comes together for things like this. And Jazz Crawl really is as much about hearing great music as it is being out and about with people
Right.
or meeting new friends along the
Exactly.
way. But I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the number 24. I wrote that down. 24 music venues downtown. Like that is an incredible number.
Yeah.
And for someone who lives and works downtown, I'm not sure I could think of 24. And so I think that goes to our city.
Yes.
And how we embrace we just had a conversation earlier today about how live music lives everywhere
Yes.
here.
Yes.
And I think there's still this perception that there's nothing to do in Eau Claire.
Right.
And man, I mean, 24 venues. And what I love about it is it really, you're encouraged to move about the cabin, right? It's not like if you walk in and you stay for 2 songs and you're like, oh, I don't like these guys. It's not rude to leave.
Right.
Or if you're like, I got to check out the next one down the road.
Right.
So tell me about, I mean, it's not the same. You've got all these artists, and tell me about, like, how are they different? Like when I walk in from one
course.
venue to the other, what's the feel?
That's a great question, and that touches base on another reason we decided to create this event is jazz by far is the least listened to style of music on the radio this day and age, but jazz is America's original art form. So if you want to get kind of nerdy for a second, every style of music that came after that, funk, rock, pop, what have you, has influences from jazz. And we're trying to provide an experience that is exciting for the community while also giving a little bit of an educational element to it too. And what I mean by that is you grab your wristband and you can go to any venue, and they're not all just going to be straight ahead jazz. Because again, not many people listen to that. You may walk into one venue and you hear a funk band. Then you can go to the next door, you may hear a blues group. Then you may hear a solo guitar player doing some indie music, and et cetera. And you go through the night and you hear such a wide variety of styles of music. And then you realize, oh my gosh, this all in all is all jazz. And that's what it makes it special for me. And there's different experiences within different venues. If you want something a little bit more calm and intimate, you can go into, ECDC or a venue like that. Or if you want something really formal and high-end and world-class, the first time ever we're able to do this, we're going to do an add-on experience through the Jazz Crawl that if you want to attend the concert series in the RCU Theater in Pablo, that's an add-on ticket that you can buy, and that's more of a formal thing where that's, there you don't want to just come in and out, but you want to sit down and enjoy what is going to be truly a world-class, straight-ahead jazz type of experience. But if you don't want that, you can just get your wristband and go to the Stones Throw and hear more kind of rock, hear Ivory Soul, a band like that or something. And again, there's an experience for each and every person that goes to the community.
Yeah, so Jazz Crawl is its own thing, but
Sure.
then you do have the concert series, which
Correct.
does take place here at Pablo, and that's a 2-night event.
Correct.
And so you can buy your Jazz Crawl wristband, and then, as you mentioned, you can add on those 2 evening experiences, and
Right.
those really are like a sit-down seated
Correct.
concert,
Yep.
not a come on in,
No,
watch
more
a couple
formal.
songs. I mean, if you got to go, you got to go.
Sure,
but
but
it is
certainly
really
more
more of a traditional
Correct.
Pablo concert.
Yes.
So you've got 2 headliners
Oh, my
coming to
gosh.
that, and I mean the names are incredible. Tell us about them.
They're absolute legends in their own right. We've had them here before, and one thing that if you attend that you'll agree with me on within the first 5 seconds of seeing these two is the atmosphere they two have. They don't get to perform with each other too much, but when they get together, the last time they were here, they had the audience, I kid you not, belly laughing with these jokes they had. And that's part of something I always do when I'm hiring guest artists is first and foremost, they need to be world class. Guest artists you wouldn't typically see in our, quote, small town of Eau Claire. And I used to say that a lot more before Pablo Center was here because they really helped create
I
that
hope
where
we've
they
upped
bring
the game
in,
a little bit,
Of
Quentin.
course you have. But they, the chemistry they have on stage, and then they are backed by UW Eau Claire's Jazz Ensemble 1, which, again, has been Grammy nominated. It's won the Downbeat Award, which is Best College Jazz Band several times. It's a really, really world-class event, and that happens both Friday and Saturday night, and that's just such a treat.
Is
to have
it
them
the
here,
same
too.
show 2 nights?
More or less.
Okay,
Yep.
so you don't have to, like, if you want to crawl all night Friday
Yep.
and you want to go to the
Yep.
performance Saturday night, or vice versa.
Exactly.
You've got that option.
The Friday night concert series, we made that a bit on purpose where it both Friday and Saturday, the concerts start at 7 o'clock in RCU Theater. Friday night's concert ends a little bit closer to 8:30, and we did that because from the community's reviews and stuff they would tell us is, hey, we really want to go to that concert in RCU, but we also want to attend the Jazz Crawl after that. So we kind of shortened the concert on Friday where, again, you can purchase that as an add-on, but then after that, the idea is you go out into the community, enjoy more of the Jazz Crawl from there. But if that's not your vibe, go to the Jazz Crawl on Friday all night long, and then Saturday you can attend the concert series, and that's a little bit longer. It starts at 7, and it'll go a little bit later into the evening, and again, that's a pretty world-class event.
Yeah, and I think if you're listening to this and you don't know about UW Eau Claire and jazz, things that maybe you know our volleyball team or you know our football team, but man, our jazz program, or our music and theater arts program in and of itself is
world-renowned.
off the charts.
Right.
And there's nothing worse than being a best kept secret, but it is. I mean, watch our Blue Gold Marching Band just one time. We can't.
Oh,
we
yeah.
actually can't host them here anymore because we
too
can't
big.
fit that
Yeah.
many people on our stage.
Yeah.
But there's an enormous education. The roots of Eau Claire Jazz really is in this educational side of the festival. So tell me about what you're doing with high school students and our university students as part of Eau Claire Jazz Festival.
Sure, and that's a good question. So the festival, again, it's been longer running than the Eau Claire Jazz Inc. as an organization. But the one thing that's always been there and continues to be incredibly important is the educational element. We have 4 main components of the festival, 2 of them being a little bit more community focused, and that's things we've already talked about, the concert series and the Jazz Crawl, and then the 2 educational ones that the community members may not really know about, rather, is master classes and student sessions. And those are more educational focused. Master classes, that's pretty self-explanatory. I bring in artists that can talk.
Hold on. It's self-explanatory if you're in the business.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So because I'm like, wait, I don't know what a master class
sure.
is. So tell me what that means.
I do. I bring in, well, I guess you can consider masters in their own field, and I have them do a 60-minute or so clinic on their topic. And my goal is I bring in anywhere from 20 to 30 artists to do a masterclass for the students, and it is available to the community, but I very much put a focus on making sure it's for the students. And my thing there is to make sure that I have a topic that captures the interest in each and every student. We have anywhere from 90 to, I think our record was 144 school ensembles attend.
Oh my goodness.
Each school ensemble having between 8 and 25 students in it, so you can do the math on how many thousands of kids.
Did you just say you have 100 schools that come to this?
Between on the low end 90, on a high end I think our record was 146 school ensembles.
146 school ensembles coming through this community.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's one of the country's largest educational jazz
And I think
festivals.
that gets lost a little bit in translation.
Sure.
You know, again, I know the crawl because it's so fun. It is a can't miss night in Eau Claire.
Sure.
And then, of course, the show here I don't know that I would call myself a fan of jazz. I'm a fan of music. I was blown away.
Sure.
But wow, to understand that there are between 100 and 150 schools and students here immersing themselves in what you are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Masterclass. Tell us more about Masterclass.
I bring in between 20 and 30 people to talk about their different expertise, and my goal is to make sure that there's a class out there for each and every student. You know, everyone from the highly refined and very motivated college kid that's, wants to do music for a career to the 7th grader that doesn't even know if they really like trombone anymore. But I want there to be a class for each and every person. So the topics are very wide in regards to focus, and that's something really special. And then the student sessions where that's the band comes out, they perform for our panel of adjudicators, they get some help, and they hopefully get excited in the process, and they go back home and they can continue that momentum. But that all the educational stuff that happens during the day on Friday and Saturday on university campus, and then we bleed out into the community in the evening for both those nights. And it's I would say it's most certainly a 2-day experience for the community, and the students are starting to do that as well.
And the students, some come and go home. Do some stay in town?
Oh, it's becoming more and more of the culture that people now spend the night. Because of the events at night, they're just so unique and inspiring and exciting that the Jazz Crawl in particular, as a high school or a college student thinking about, think about the opportunity maybe playing in one of the bands, but if not, just going from venue to venue, talk about exciting for them and really creating some inspiration for them when they go back home. So it is very much becoming the trend that schools will stay overnight on Friday. They'll go educational all day long. They'll do the Jazz Crawl or the concert series on Friday, and then they'll be a part of the educational element again on Saturday. And some schools are even crazy enough they'll stay 2 nights in a row and then go back home on Sunday. And our goal is for those kids to go home absolutely exhausted from all of the opportunities they're able to take advantage of, and then, again, continue that momentum throughout the year when they go back home to their school.
So, important question, is there an age restriction on the crawl?
No.
So you don't have to be 21 to go in and out of all of these clubs and all. So it really is something you could bring your kids to.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
100%. Because I think we think a lot about, because a lot of them are bars, right? But so there's a metamorphosis that evening with probably a 21 wristband that gets added to what you're doing. So it really is a safe and comfortable environment.
Yep.
So if you have a high schooler at home that's like, Mom, I want to go to this thing as the mother of a teenager. And I'm like, you're not going to downtown Eau Claire and jumping in and out of bars. That's absolutely acceptable and encouraged during the crawl.
We have well over 750 last year, 750 kids between 15 and 18 that were in attendance, and I think it's because we have upwards of 10 venues, maybe even more, that are not just 21 plus. You got the Lismore Ballroom, again you have Pablo, we have 2 wonderful Jazz Crawl stops in the Pablo Center as well, the Children's Theater. We were very conscientious of making sure that the experience is all inclusive for all age groups.
That's, and they often don't get an opportunity to see what it looks like to play professionally or semi-professionally, to be out in that and say, let's say music can't be my, maybe it's not my full-time thing, but I can still carry that love of music and gig on the weekends or gig on the side. So see what that looks like, if you're down at Two Roots or you're down at the Acoustic Cafe and just sitting on a bar stool and playing, probably not a bar stool for jazz, but, sitting and playing some incredible music. And
couldn't agree more.
I always giggle because where we do this podcast from the Pablo Center, I can see the backside of the Phoenix Tap Room, and they have those little bubbles.
Oh,
the igloos.
Yeah, the igloos.
I'm like, how cool is it to just sit out there?
Aren't they?
That's really neat. So, 3,500 people sounds overwhelming, but it's not with 24 venues.
Most venues certainly reach capacity within 30 minutes or so. But again, almost all the venues say it's the best night of business for them all year. We have food trucks too. The food trucks sell out like within an hour. It's just
meaning not out of food.
Oh, yeah.
They sell out. So pack a snack. Is what you're saying?
We're conscientious. We don't. We only do a select amount of food trucks because we don't want to take away business from the downtown venues here. But we do have certain areas of the Jazz Crawl where it's a little bit more low in terms of food options. So we have some food trucks, but they still sell out too. I remember one year the Plus. I was over hanging out there for a second just to see how it was going, and they told me they sold out of pizzas in like 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh!
It's such a fun event. But again, what makes it a bit unique is you don't go sit down unless you're going to the concert series where it's a little bit more formal. Every other venue, you go in and you don't sit there for 2 hours necessarily. You may go in, grab a beer, hear the band for 30 minutes, and then you go to the next venue. You grab taco, and you hear the next band. But the idea is you're visiting, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 venues throughout the night. And then you can enjoy, something from that venue that it's offering as well. Maybe it's ice cream from Olson's, or it's
always ice cream from
Olson's. Oh yeah, I'm with you there. And that's what makes it special too. So again, you're experiencing so many different types of music, but you're also experiencing the town really. Getting a good feel for these types of venues.
Well, and I think too, when you look at Eau Claire and what we've become as a destination for music, like I said earlier, I don't know that if you paid me $1 million, I don't know that I could list your 24 venues. I don't think I could think of 24.
Sure.
So even if you are a lover of live, come down and find out maybe these venues you didn't even know existed.
Right.
Leona's has only been open maybe a year, 2 years.
I would say, closer to that year.
Yeah, and it's become one of our biggest, small rooms that we have here in Two Roots. And, there's ones that always come to mind.
Right.
But there's ones that maybe you've never even thought of that, I think Acoustic Cafe, they were kind of the cornerstone of live music downtown.
For a long
we
time.
just had an artist that played here last week that talked about his first experience in Eau Claire was playing down at Acoustic. And he said, God, do they still have those great sandwiches? They do.
Oh, yeah.
They do. Awesome.
Yep. It's a special one. Yeah, a new venue as of this year is Forage. They're going to bring in, she's a wonderful cook, the owner there, so she said she may do some kind of catered meals and things like that, but we're going to put some bands in there, and for any venue that may be interested, you just approach us and we'll do our best to make it work, and it's our job to pretty much do everything. And for the venue, they just have to help with making sure that people entering their venue have the wristband or all the room capacity and stuff. But other than that, we do everything internally, and we just want to make sure those venues can take opportunity of all the people coming into town.
And what a great way for us to showcase our community.
Oh, I couldn't agree
my
more.
gosh. Like I get so excited when we talk about it because I participated for the first time a couple years ago. And again, I couldn't believe the energy and the excitement that was happening and just the ability to just pop in and out. And, I'm like a 20-minute concert goer.
Sure.
I've always said Farm Aid was built for me because everyone plays 20 minutes and then you get something different.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, I love that I can just jump in and be like, wow, these guys are great. I wonder what's next, right? So the ADD takes over and it's perfect for me because I can see 24 different shows in one night.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously the ability for us to showcase what Eau Claire has become.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't been here lately, you've never been here.
I remember coming here, and I went to school here, and I think I moved here in 2011, maybe 10. And I remember driving through downtown, and it was like, from a Western, a tumbleweed went across the road, and you're like, what the heck is this area? And just to think how much our culture and community in downtown has grown since then. Again, watching Pablo Center come from a far-fetched idea to what it is now is you can't help but feel empowered, and seeing all just the culture and the focus and the love in our downtown area. And I mean that it's something that you just notice when you're down here. And we bring in the guest artists that are world-renowned, and they do jazz festivals like ours all the time, and every year, without a doubt, after the concert series, where then we bring them out to the Jazz Crawl, we'll hang out on that Sunday after everything's done, and they all look at me and just say, like, what is it about this town? Doc Severinsen, trumpet player for Johnny Carson for 40 years, a guy that's pretty much done everything, was here a few years ago, and he did that. He went to the Jazz Crawl, and afterwards he looked at me and the board and just said, what is it about this area where just everyone is so supportive and collaborative and excited, and the arts is such a crucial part of this community. It's just I think we're all pretty lucky to be a part of it.
I think that's one of the coolest things about being here on a regular basis is, as we welcome our artists through the door when they arrive, Brian always, our director of production, always takes them on a tour of the facility, and they can't help but stop dead in their tracks. Yeah. They're looking at, originally they're looking at technical side of the building. They're looking at, quite frankly, clean and nice dressing rooms. Then they walk in the theater. It's stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stunning. And the acoustics are second to none. Mm-hmm. And then you have the opportunity to bring them out in that lobby.
Yes.
And have them understand why we are the Pablo Center at the confluence. And
yes.
You explain what a confluence of two rivers is,
right.
because you're showing it to them. And they can't even wrap their head around that Eau Claire has the privilege of having this incredible facility that, quite frankly, we're still trying to figure out, right? We're babies here.
Right.
I would say we've been open for 6 years, but closed for 2.
Sure.
Still trying to figure out like who we are and how our community learns to understand what happens here.
Sure.
Because while it's a performing arts center, in name,
mm-hmm.
like everything happens in here.
Yes.
We've had Steve-O and comedians. We've
right.
had, incredible jazz. We've had incredible rock.
Mm-hmm.
We've had ballet. We've had interpretive. It's all the things.
Right.
And so it's such a privilege, to have this in our community. It's a privilege for me to be able to work here 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a special place.
So I always ask this question and everyone's like, don't make me do it. But do you have a favorite moment, Quentin, that you can look at for Jazz Fest over the years? I know it's always like, who's your favorite kid? Like what was, your favorite pet's name? But,
for me, probably the moment, I won't lie, the job, I'm the executive director, and the month of March and April, it's a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of logistics and everything, it's a lot. And for me, the first hour of the jazz crawl, where all of the potential, and you know exactly what I'm talking about because you run events, when all the things that could go wrong and then there's that like window of time where there's not any issues, or if there are, you can't solve them at that point.
Right.
And I can sit there and look down at the street and see all the events going, and all the joy and the impact that the event's bringing everyone is the reason I come back. And I just feel so, and I mean it, I feel so grateful that the event is doing well because of the community we're in. This event would not work if we had a different community. And I know that. I play trumpet professionally too. I used to, for about 3 years, I was on the road. I did national touring Broadway shows. I played in Disneyland. I played on cruise ships. I've gone everywhere. And I've seen a lot of towns, and I remember getting off the road, and the only thing I wanted to do was get back home to Eau Claire because of the community is so special. So to see the events take place and knowing the impact it's bringing everyone on that Friday night is a pretty special moment for me. Those few hours is what brings me back each year.
I always say cruising altitude feels really good. You might have hit some turbulence during takeoff, right?
Uh-huh.
But like as soon as that fasten your seatbelt sign comes off, you're like, oh, it used to be the smoking sign too, but as soon as the fasten your seatbelt sign comes off, you're free to move about the cabin. It's a feeling, and we always. If you listen to this podcast, my why is moments in time.
Right.
And to be able for you to look out and see all of these nuggets of moments in time happening for people, and knowing that you played a part in this memory they're creating, or this newfound love of jazz, or this newfound love of the trombone.
Right.
You were a part of creating that for somebody, and that is one of the coolest things on the planet.
It's seeing what you're doing provide impact is and I know you know what I'm talking about because it's your world too.
It is. It's why we do what we do.
Of course.
100% why we do what we do. So Eau Claire Jazz Fest is coming up. It is April 17th and 18th
Correct.
in Eau Claire. How do I get tickets?
Everything that we talked about, it gets wildly more detailed, but we don't want to bore you. So just go to our website, eauclairejazz.com. And from in there will be a bunch of hyperlinks either to the concert series tickets through Pablo's website, or Jazz Crawl tickets through our portal. Just all the information is there. there and get you everything you need before you branch off and get the experience that you want.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to remind people, start at eauclairejazz.com. Don't Google it, type it, because you don't want to get into that secondary icky ticket market, right? Right, exactly. That's the word I would use too. So eauclairejazz.com is where you're going to want to start. You can also start at the Pablo Center website. We'll get you there as well if that's a comfortable place. Get those tickets, even if you just come down for an hour or two. The crawl is incredible.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the concert series is going to take you to a whole new planet.
Right.
Tell me about pricing. Jazz Crawl tickets are?
$20 pre-sale, and I highly advise you do that. $25, and that's
$20. I'm going to see 24 live music venues.
Yep.
That's less than $1 a venue.
That we will never start to poach with the ticket prices, because that's against what the mission of the event is. And it gets you into everything. The only add-on pricing you can do is, again, that Friday night concert series in RCU, which I could not recommend that enough. It's just such a special concert for a lot of reasons you just mentioned, too, within that venue. I know RCU Theater is rated one of the top acoustically sounding venues in the country. It's just so special. But if you do get those Jazz Crawl tickets, you got to go to the opening ceremony at 5:30 in the lobby. It's a really, really special time just to kick it off with everyone. There's speeches. I'm not going to say too much in case I'm wrong, but there may be some drinks and food or something offered.
Perhaps.
I don't know. I'll have to talk to the Pablos about that. But if you're going to get those tickets, you want to make sure you come up for that too, and celebrate with us as we go into the town.
Excellent. And obviously, we always prefer, if you can, try and get those in advance. They're always available at the door, but you know what? It just makes life so much easier if you can walk in the door with those tickets already purchased. If you do come to the opening ceremonies here at Pablo, you can get your wristband right here that evening. So come to the opening ceremonies, and valet parking is available that night, so you can park in our parking lots. Yes. So all kinds of good things happening. Quentin, thank you. Thanks for letting Pablo Center be a part of this incredible tradition that happens in Eau Claire. And we hope to see everybody here on the 17th and 18th of April.
Thank you, Kathy.